ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Booking the Fan. The last Booking the Fan I did was about Brittany Johnson, and I just want to say this about Brittany. Brittany, if you're watching this, I am considering doing another Booking the Fan on you later. Not right now, because I'm currently doing a lot of stuff. I'm actually started doing reality of wrestling, and I'm still doing the SmackDown reviews. I'm doing the video you saw previously, which is a little slice of Raw, and I'm doing TNA. So hopefully I will eventually get to the Booking the Fan. Just remind me, because I could forget, just remind me periodically to, if I have the time to do it. Now, the reason I do these Booking the Fans is because really nice, good people have done comments on my videos. Brittany Johnson is one of them, and I gotta say this, and I know I said this before, if that is your picture that is on that YouTube page, you're a gorgeous woman. I'm just saying that because I just wanted to say that the people who leave these comments, I really take this personally. I'm not a type of person that just says, I thank you for your comments. It means a lot to me. I don't just say it because it seems to be a good thing to say, so people would think, oh, that's just so nice. I say this because I really mean it. That's the type of person I am. If you say something that really means a lot to me, I say something back. I'll say, it really does mean a lot to me to know that someone cares. And admittedly, I'm very introverted. I still get nervous about people asking to be friends and asking to want to go out or something like that. I still have those problems, along with my depression. But I do take these things I'm told very seriously. It means a lot to me. And when it comes to Sarah and Morgan Hyde, particularly when Sarah first spoke to me in January, leaving really nice comments, especially when I was very sick, I took that to heart. And that's why I started the Booking the Fan series. And when it came to Morgan, her husband, and he left messages the same as his wife, and his wife doesn't comment often. It's rare for her to comment because she's really going through a lot of problems herself right now, which I will not explain because it's none of anyone's business. But I hope they're going to keep staying together and they keep working on what's going on. I know this sounds silly. They're probably way younger than me. So I'm just saying I'm really proud of them both for not quitting on their relationship. Because I know even with a kid in America, and I think they're in the UK because they haven't said it, but I'm sure they are. And I know they can split up there too, but here, splitting up with kids is something that they really love doing. And I was married, and my relationship shattered, and I'm not around my kid. So they're working through their problems, and it makes me really happy to see they're doing it. So thumbs up to both of you. And when it comes to this video, I'm kind of dragging this. I'm sorry. I want to make this video for you guys because I did promise I would do a booking for both of you. Now, I'll probably do a time skip for anybody who want to go beyond that. I'll probably leave it in the description, the description below. So you can skip this if you don't want to see it. So this is what it comes down to. You guys wanted me to see if I can give you something special, like you guys want to be the GMs of Raw. Well, here's the problem. Both of you have very antisocial behaviors. And trying to become the general managers of Raw the way I booked you is not going to work. But you will be general managers, but just not of Raw. And this is how I'm going to do it. Originally in my bookings, I left you both around 2017 to 18. So I'm going to still do the bookings that way. As it stands for Sarah Hyde, who is a yandere, a yandere lolly. And if you don't know what that means, if you haven't seen Japanese animation, a yandere is basically a bipolar woman who, in a sense, who dresses like a cute young lady, maybe in her early teens, maybe 13, 14, 15, who's all in pink, who's really sweet. That's the way they dress in Japan, in a certain cosplay. And she's sweet and tender and loving to a guy she locks onto, which they call usually a senpai. That means a guy that she admires, a guy that is her mentor. But she's fallen in love with him and she will do anything. She will kill anybody in Japanese animation to make sure no one takes him away from her or even hurts him. In this case in wrestling, she's either had a ref or Ric Flair. And now Randy Orton. And this is how it is for her right now. I got to give a little backstory. Basically, she had the Divas title, and I'm going by the going by the brand split that happened this year, but I'm going to do it in 2017 because it's the best way to do it. In 2017, the brand split happened. You got the Divas Championship on Raw, the Women's New Championship on SmackDown, of course. But what happened with you, Sarah, you did not get stripped of the title and you didn't lose the title. What they did, they retired the title of the Divas and they handed you the Women's title on Raw. It's going to be the same color. It's going to have the same design, even though I think the design sucks. They could have done something better. But I'm going by current things that's going on in Raw. Now, when it comes to Morgan, who is the Mangler? Because he was booked just like Baron Corbin, a no-nonsense, totally alone wolf that will destroy anyone who gets in his way. He didn't have a chance to get a title. That was the last video I did for him. This is what it comes down for you, Morgan. 2017 to 16. You, at the end of 2016, which is this year, you clearly won the U.S. title. When the brand split happened, you went to SmackDown, you got the U.S. title. But unfortunately, you got stripped of the title. Mainly because you basically beat up everyone and basically made them into a burrito with the ring. Just like you did with John Cena. Just like, no, you didn't wrap up John Cena. You wrapped up Daniel Bryan like a burrito. You did. In the last booking. You wrapped him up. And this wrapping up of Daniel Bryan was about 3 months after you, it's about after you won the title. And when it comes down to it, going into 2018, you have the U.S. title, which is on SmackDown, but unfortunately, you got stripped of it due to the fact you kept beating people up and getting basically suspended by Shane McMahon because you didn't want to fight them like the normal way in the wrestling ring. You didn't care how you beat them. You just beat them up. You didn't get a chance to really wrestle them. So you were stripped. So for several months you weren't doing anything. Sarah, you were women's champion. You tried to get the IC title for the Viper, Randy Orton, but then you got stripped of the title by Vince himself saying that you want the IC title, you're going to be stripped of the women's title because you're not having both. So you get stripped of the women's title, but you win the IC title. And by 2018, the beginning of it, around January, Morgan, you get suspended for 6 months because, again, you basically beat up on everybody and Shane said, I'm done with you. 6 months suspension, no pay. When it comes to Sarah, you are IC title champion all the way up to to SummerSlam, I'm sorry. You are now IC champion at SummerSlam. Morgan, you appear on SummerSlam and you get a chance to go after the SmackDown World Heavyweight Champion because you played by the rules this time, but you were still considering beating the crap out of the guy afterward. So I'm not forgetting how you feel. But as that SummerSlam pay-per-view happened, you and Sarah passed by each other. You actually stop for a second. She looks at you. You look at her. You go and walk away from her. She looks at you and says, And she gets the thought about a new senpai. I'm sorry, I got to do it that way because that is your character, Sarah. So 1 month later, after SummerSlam is over, where Morgan, you did not get the World Heavyweight Championship, unfortunately. Sarah, you still kept the IC title, and when it comes down to it, the Randy Orton comes back. And he comes back and he says to you, I'm proud of you. And he becomes your manager for 2 months. And at that 2 months, you beat everybody. The guys. Usually you put guys about your size. And you beat them. Here's the thing. 1 month after that, you are told by Randy, you got to have a match. And it's with him. And he expects you to job for him. Yes. So you are in the ring with him the following week after he told you on that Raw, and you are supposed to lay on the floor, in other words, the ring, and you're just going to let him pin you. And you couldn't do it. The minute you lay down, as he's going 1, 2, you jump up. And he's shocked. He says, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Now here's the thing. People didn't notice during the pay-per-views, but you were there at the pay-per-views. And I'm not talking about the Raw pay-per-views. I'm talking about the SmackDown pay-per-views, because you will be seen on television on every pay-per-view for the next 2 months. Even when Randy's around, you go to the SmackDown pay-per-views, and every time you're seen, you see Morgan. You see the Mangler each and every time. And he notices you. And you're going just like this, showing him that you're interested in him. And there'll be one segment a week before Randy Orton, well, it's about a day after Randy Orton says you're going to go basically lay down in the ring. So you go to SmackDown. You go in the back and you see Morgan. And Morgan sees you and says, "What are you doing here?" She says, "I just want to look at you." And you know what Morgan does? He grabs you by your shoulders and knocks you up against the wall. Well, pushes you up against the wall. And he says, "I don't like anyone looking at me. Who the hell do you think you are?" And you look dead into his face and you just kiss him. Because you realize that's your new senpai. And he looks at you and says, and walks away. But in actuality, he actually liked it. So when the next week happens on Raw and you refuse to get pinned, and basically Randy Orton puts you through the ringer, guess who was in the crowd? Who was at that Raw? It was Morgan. He jumps over the retaining wall, jumps into the ring, and basically whoops the ass of a Randy Orton. And basically, you help him whoop the ass of a Randy Orton, and you both wrap him up like a burrito in the ring, using the ring apron, using the ring ropes. You tear the ring down and literally tie his ass up. You whack him on the head with one of the pieces from the ring rope, and then he gets a concussion. When Vince sees this, the next Raw, not SmackDown, the next Raw, both of you appear, and basically, he fires you both. You get stripped of the IC title, Morgan is fired, and you are fired. You're gone. But here's the thing you're going to love. Because you're both gone, you're both now outside in the next week. You're outside the next venue for Raw. And guess who's standing out there who knows you've been standing out there? It's Daniel Bryan. And he looks at you both and says, "Hey, you guys need a job?" Daniel Bryan hires you both on the spot. And you go over to NXT, which at this time, I'm still going by storylines I made previously. Daniel Bryan is the owner and promoter of NXT, the promotion, which is generally separated from the wonderful WWE. And he still sends talent over to, at this time, Triple H, because by the time you're fired, Triple H, he finally gets total control of the WWE. And when it comes down to it, you become talent at NXT. You're there for about 2 years, which means you'll be there until 2020. But here's the thing. Daniel Bryan has to leave because of problems financially. And while he's gone, he makes you two current GMs of NXT. Now, he's gone for about a month or two. No, about 6 months, because there was a problem with the company. He has to now take litigation in the courts. He left you in charge of the company as duo GMs. Morgan, you'll be controlling what's going on with the world title for NXT, the United title for NXT, which would be the IC title, and the tag titles. Sarah, you're the one who takes care of the women's world title and the women's tag title, because NXT will have them both. And you decide, both of you, you know what? Our product is better than WWE right now. We actually got better ratings. Why don't we screw with the WWE and show them how good we are and start showing NXT Haven, I'm just calling it something because just like Monday Night Raw had, Nitro had something on Monday nights, and TNA has Explosion, you have to have something. NXT Haven is their usually it's their Wednesday show. They switch it now to Mondays. And now they go head to head. You literally are the GMs of NXT and you're going head to head with WWE Raw. Oh yes you are. And this is the part you're going to love. You see, you basically have the wrestlers you love come to NXT. For you, Sarah, it's going to be Bayley, and it's going to be Sasha Banks that come to NXT because they basically jump ship from Raw and WWE. For you, my friend, it will be Baron Corbin. He basically is the guy you love. He is on the roster and he jumps from WWE and Raw to NXT and NXT Haven. And you use these guys and build your company around them. So and I have to make this very clear, when Daniel Bryan comes back and he is the owner of NXT, he doesn't take over. He leaves you as GMs. And in the following year after that, which is 2022, you start sending those 3 people to invade Monday Night Raw. They start going into the crowd. They start showing themselves and everyone starts saying NXT, NXT, NXT. And they're not cheering WWE. They're not cheering Raw. They're not cheering SmackDown. They're not cheering Shane or Vince or Stephanie or Triple H themselves. They are cheering for NXT. The shares start dropping off of WWE. And eventually, after another year, 2023, it is Triple H comes to the ring and he says to the crowd, "Ladies and gentlemen of Monday Night Raw, I am sorry to say, but we have been bought out by NXT and Daniel Bryan." And just like how it was with Shane McMahon, basically NXT, Daniel Bryan is there and he says simply, "I own Raw. I own WWE. And I'm now going to send my new GMs over to deal with it," which is the Mangler and the Lolly. You got Sarah and Morgan Hyde coming out as the new GMs of Monday Night Raw. And periodically Daniel Bryan coming out as the owner of WWE and NXT, which still stays separate. The companies still stay separate. And here's the thing you're going to love the most. By 2025, eventually the WWE is no more. Vince literally gets bought out and he drops dead. I'm not saying for real life. It's just that he literally dies. Stephanie doesn't have the shares anymore. And Shane doesn't have the shares anymore because the stock in the company went so low. And because NXT was propping up WWE, Daniel Bryan says, "I'm closing the doors." So he literally closes the doors on WWE. It's gone. And now NXT owns the license of WWE, all of WWE Studios, which I think is crap, but you get the network, which now becomes the NXT, what would you call it? Not the NXT network, but the NXT Desire. That's the best thing you can call the website, I guess. But essentially, due to you working so well as the NXT GMs, you literally destroyed the biggest company in history and basically stay as the GMs and become rich. And in the story, you both marry each other and you both retire, and within about 10 years, you're both inducted into the NXT Hall of Fame as the first true inductees. I sponsored you in this way because going the normal route of getting into the WWE wouldn't work because you're both antisocial, you're both different, you're both unique. I know this is the same story that you heard for years. You get the invasion angle, but you know what? The invasion angle doesn't have to be the way you think, because the stories that come out in WWE, because NXT took it over, isn't the same stories. You're not getting the same type of storylines. You're getting golden age wrestling. You're getting full character development. You're getting really good wrestling. Then you get really high-flying wrestling. And then you get really bizarre wrestling. Just like the Mick Foley used to do as Mankind. Just like when it came to The Undertaker. Just like when you get the pop culture wrestlers like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. You literally, with the Daniel Bryan, build a company that remembers the past and builds it that way. Not just the golden age, but you also throw some of the attitude into it, of the attitude era. But it's mainly golden age wrestling, which a lot of people really wish we had. I made this story so I would hope in real life this would happen. But I wanted this for both of you because you're basically a golden age. As weird as it sounds, you both love each other. You both care how your lives go. You both talk to each other. I think you do. And this is for both of you, a gift. And I'm doing this as a person who never really had a great life, but knows that life is what you make it. And I hope you're doing well. And you guys, I hope you still talk with me. I know I still act introverted and a little nervous about how I talk on my comments. And next to that, I spell very bad. But know that I do have a lot of emotion, and I hope you understand. And if you guys want to keep talking, I'll be happy to do it. And I hope you understand my way of thinking about this. And I hope you enjoyed this Booking the Fan. Please comment below. And this is a long one. I've never done a 21-minute one. Have a good day. Have a good night. And I really hope you enjoy this.